Hello guys, and welcome back to What If Civilization Started Over. Now in the last video we had quite a lot of things happen. However, the main one was the attack around here by I think it was the Danish team onto some Swedish team troops, and so they decided to initiate war. And so the square team and the triangle team are both brought into the war. Now I actually did forget in the last episode that because my map had kind of been deleted, I forgot that the Belgian team and the British team here were both square alliance, but because the British team split, we're actually going to have just Britain staying, and the Irish country, who's a lot weaker, and that is why also the British team keep their colony here. They aren't allowed to, or they don't want to join up. And so before we get into a lot of the fighting, we're gonna have a little bit of stuff going on around the world. So the first thing is this bit here decides that it wants to join this team here. The yellow team is okay. The yellow team's okay with it. However, this entire peninsula also wants to join up, and instead of really asking for permission, they just join up with them. And so the yellow team, it's not doing well because there is heavy political instability, and so that is why a lot of these areas are wanting to break apart, with this one even forming its own country, which is going to look like this yellow, this kind of we're going to make it pink like this, with their capital being placed right here, and they are very good allies with this country here. And so with the political instability, lots of other bits of the country are deciding to break away, and so even the pink team, which lost a lot of land due to the revolution inside, is actually gaining a decent amount of popularity as they are a lot more stable, and soon the needs between the north and the south become too great to handle, and there is a big split with the south like this and the north taking this area, with their capital city being right here. And so now India has become a lot more divided, and this country, who used to be decently strong, is no longer as strong as before. And for the final thing before the big war, we're going to have obviously a Middle East, a Central Asian war, and that is actually going to be the light green country declaring war on the blue country right here. And as you know, this light green country is the military of the green country down here, and so they are actually extremely militarily strong. However, other than that, they're not very strong, and so they quickly take the capital within a couple of days, and the entire country just surrenders. And so green team takes that. And for the final thing, the blue team here, which is, I believe, as you can see, the trade route is still decently important, but not as important as before, so I don't think I'll really be showing it. But the gold team here actually decides that they need a bit more land, so they quickly go into the traders union, the trader union, and its capital is taken very quickly, and then it's taking a lot of lands around it, and they decide to surrender, with the peace treaty actually making the gold team. They don't take the capital, however they do take quite a lot of land in the east, as well as the blue team being forced to give up land here so that the brown team and the gold team can actually have a link together here. And so the blue team still exists, but not as strong as before. Now we're going to head over to the fighting. Obviously the war started over here, and so the Swedish team manages to make a couple landings on over here, managing to take quite a lot. Now obviously the two alliances don't really border each other apart from around here, and so a lot of the troops from the team from the Russian team here and the other Russian team are being sent up through here, and so with the influx of those troops, the Norwegian team, who is still a very strong country, managed to quickly take the capital of the Danish country and employ a devastating attack, as this country, as we also have the yellow team here deciding they want to be apart. You can't really see it. Maybe we need to make it a bit darker. And so with that, they actually, along with the green team up here, managed to take the southern half, as well as them then invading into the light blue team while being funded by the triangle team, because they really didn't like the blue team here. So with that, the conquest by the triangle team into the square team land goes really well, as they aren't actually being pushed back. And even here in the south, they are making decent gains into the green team, as we even have this country here trying to take back as much land. They don't exactly join up with the triangle team, however they are being supplied by the triangle team, and so the yellow country along with the blue country managed to cut down over to here, and then for one of the biggest turning points, as the southern Italian team joins up with the triangle team, and with that a new front line has opened up, and this is actually where all the blue team troops are going, as they managed to encircle the capital within a couple days. And we actually have the yellow team keep on going on their conquest west, as they managed to take all of these countries very quickly, and they go over here where they're finally on the front lines of a square team member, another one, as they quickly go in and take over the country. We then have the light green team pushing in and taking a lot of the land that used to be here. Now the pink team troops having to help and stay over here as the capital falls over to the triangle team. And before the war, during the war, these three countries that the yellow team has taken over all actually have been fully integrated already into the yellow team, and so once again they can send more and more troops now into the blue team here. However, it is mainly the green team who is doing the work in the northern part, which is a lot easier to invade as the people there aren't as in support of being under these guys' control. And once again they are on the outskirts of the capital. Now we actually have another country joining in on this war, and that is the Irish country, who crosses over the channel very quickly, cutting off Scotland, which actually just ends up revolting against the British, as they also then make a landing down here in Cornwall. They go across, attempting to cut off the capital from the rest of the country, which they do successfully, and eventually the country just surrenders. And so in this thing we can see how actually strong the triangle team is and how much more popular they are than the square team. And so over here they continue to invade, with a lot of the troops coming into the green front line and the yellow front line. And so eventually the capital is taken and they surrender. And so we now have the invasion into the pink team here, as they manage to go over here, as the lime team manages to take the rest of there as they push into the pink French team. And so as they keep on going, with the yellow team making more and more gains, and the capital, once again, the capital being encircled by the Triangle Alliance. And it seems that that is basically their tactic. They are just encircling the capitals of the countries. And we actually have the lime team just taking the colony up here. However, this is mainly due to the collapse of the green team. The colonies, they've decided not to get the colonies involved in the war. Yeah, so this is technically part of the green team. They don't want to get the colonies involved. However, they are taking in the manpower from them, and once again they are very, very unpopular for this. And so yeah, now it's really, really not looking good for the square team, and so they really need someone to join up with them, as we've actually got a landing being made by the blue team in this area. This area is actually still considered a main part of these guys, and so yeah, the blue team comes a bit across. However, they can't make that many gains, and so the square team is calling out for anyone to join their alliance, and they do actually manage to get one country on their side, and that is the red team. The red team doesn't like the blue team. It's simple as that. They have taken a lot of their land. They've managed to expand out, however, they are still not well liked. And we actually also have this country right here. And so at first, the red team manages to make incredible gains into the blue team as they are taken away, as well as this country managing to take over here. And the red team's like, sure, you can do that. And so they managed to actually invade very rapidly into the country, as well as these guys invading into the south here and into the puppet state, as they managed to completely take over the southern half of it, as they then push into this area. With that, the blue team is like, oh god, so they take basically all of their troops out of these countries. So these guys are managing to push back. There's even a pushback here, however mainly only against these guys, as the green team doesn't really have any blue team troops, not blue team troops in their country. They are mainly getting the aid of the Russians. And so with the blue team troops coming back, they do manage to take a bit of their land back, as well as completely taking this and invading back into them, taking their capital. And with this, they managed to keep pushing the red team back to their borders, as well as over here. However, the puppet state is still held out very, very well, apart from up here in the north, where they do manage to take a little bit back in. Now, the war is still looking very favourable towards the Triangle Alliance, and it is very much in favour. However, the blue team is, we can see for the first time, the blue team is actually kind of struggling, as the tactics of the red team, as they managed to immediately push back in and just, instead of liberating it, they just take it for themselves. And so the tactics of the blue team aren't very good, and so then they are able to make gains, the country here and the red team. And we even eventually have the pink team going into the blue team. Now, this is a very surprising move. However, this is the time for them to do this. And the triangle team is seeing how poorly these guys are fighting, and they're like, we do not want to be associated with you. You are completely losing the war for the triangle team. And so they are kicked out of the triangle team, and without the aid of the other countries, the onslaught is very quick, as the red team is actually a very strong country after that. And the front line, they managed to meet up here, as the puppet is fully taken, and they managed to then hold a front line over here, as we even have this country invading into the blue team. And it's really not looking good for the blue team, as the Greek team manages to take the peninsula and even invades up into Turkey here, mainly focusing in on the coastal areas. and the blue team is seeing this, and they've decided that they want to surrender, as they know they are not going to be winning this war. And for one of the first times in history, these guys are completely taken over. However, the red team surprisingly doesn't stop there, as they enter into the country over here. Now, everyone is astonished. The square team is very, very happy that they've done this. However, the Greek country doesn't do the same over here. And so, the red team, with staggering wins, sending troops over here, and even with some of the blue team troops, have decided to help to fight against their former friends, as they manage to come around, blocking off the... No, they don't go... They kind of manage to get onto the borders of the triangle, and once again, bits of these areas are pushed back, and even now this area is being slightly pushed back, as they know, as this country is quickly taking back troops to defend against the red team, which they do manage to do. However, they are still being slightly invaded, and so yeah, this country is not... once again, we can see that the commanding of the troops is not very good. These guys are doing fantastically, however, and as well as the Norwegians. However, these two countries are proving to be not as strong as they were once believed to be. However, it is a bit too far for the red team, and so they decide to just hold a stalemate here. They are slightly pushed back to their borders over here, but they do manage to keep on a hand on the panhandle. And so, with the refocusing of troops, the green team, the green team stops deciding to try and invade here, and actually decides to go over here with a fantastic offensive, getting all the way to the border of these guys, with the capital finally falling. And so now, for the first time probably in history, there are troops knocking on the border, and so the yellow team does stop there, as they know they probably can't go any further, as they're already very far from home. And so they manage to go down here, with actually the northern half here and the islands and the coastal area just revolting up against the Catalonian team. And we even have a landing being made over here in the north, as they do keep on taking land, cutting them off from their colonies. And we have the push made down here, as this team is incredibly weak. They are actually completely steamroll very quickly, which means they manage to encircle this area right here. The land here is quickly taken, as well as this area, and so they basically surrender. However, the final bit is this area is completely taken, and the final bit of the square team falls here, and it is a victory for the triangle team in Europe, but a loss over here in Asia. And so the peace treaty I'm actually going to just make is going to be shown off in the next video, as we're going to see some of the colonies being released. And so yeah, that is the end of the First World War. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one, where we will have all the correct borders.